So, welcome to this talk. My name is Alex. Now, if I told you that you have a journey to undertake and you have a destination, but to get to this destination, you have to walk through a dark forest, and that there are creatures in the forest like goblins, ogres, creatures who have bad intentions, who actually want to devour you. They want to leap on your back and basically terrorize you. However, you will be completely protected. Now remember, you have to walk through this forest to get where you're going. You have to get to your destination, and you have to go through this forest. There's no other option, there's no choice. But as you walk through this forest, you can be completely protected from these creatures, these goblins and whatever else there might be, these menacing creatures, if you just hold up a torch. So you'll be given a torch to walk through this forest, and all you have to do is hold it up close to you so that it illuminates you and it illuminates the path in front of you. And if you keep that torch held up, nothing can put that torch out. There's no creatures in the forest that can put out the light of that torch. And no harm can come to you, because these creatures hate the light. They don't want to come anywhere near the light. They hide from the light. But there's one thing they can do, these menacing creatures in the forest. They can talk to you from a distance, and they can persuade you or try and hypnotize you with their voice to try and put down the light, put down the torch, or to dim the light on the torch. That's all they can do. But if they succeed in talking you into putting down the torch or dimming the torch, then as the light gets less, as there is less brightness around you, then they can come closer to you. And so their only agenda, because they can't come close to you while you're holding that torch, so all they're focused on is talking you into dimming that torch, dimming the light, until it comes to the point where the light is almost out, and they will pounce upon you and they will put out that light, and then they have that opportunity to essentially devour your consciousness. Now that's not a pretty picture, and it won't happen if you don't let them talk you into putting down your light, or putting down your torch, or dimming your torch. So the secret to all of this is the torch, holding the torch, and not letting anything, not letting any voice, no matter how persuasive or appealing, not letting any voice convince you to put down that torch, to hold that torch strong and proud and high so that it illuminates a large area around you. And that's how you get through this forest. And it is a dark forest, and it's not a short forest, it's a long journey. It's a long journey that we have to make through this dark forest. However, there is no need to be afraid. As long as you know, as long as you remember that your torch is the most vital thing, that light which surrounds you and protects you with this force field that no darkness can enter, no evil can enter. That is your salvation, that is your protection. So I just want to relate this metaphor to what's happening right now, because this is exactly what's happening. We are entering a dark forest now in our society, which we cannot avoid. We can pretend everything's going to be okay and everything's going to be alright, but it's going to get darker and darker. We are walking through a very dark forest, which is what's going on in our society. The agendas, the evil agendas for control, which will be successful to a degree. However, they will not be successful in claiming your soul. This dark agenda, which is intended to claim the souls of millions of people, it's intended to drag people into the darkness, to drag people into misery and pessimism and hopelessness. That is the intention, because it's evil, and evil wants souls, and evil wants your soul. However, it will not be successful. If you hold up the torch, if you hold onto the torch and hold it brightly, and that torch is the light of Christ. There is no light bright enough other than the light of Christ to keep these evil creatures, these evil energies, these evil entities at bay. Christ's role is to serve as the brightest light which ensures that no harm can come to you, nothing can approach you, no darkness can even come near you if you are holding the torch of Christ and allowing that light to shine from within you. You're not even holding it, you're putting that light into your heart, so your heart becomes the torch. And you just carry it around. You don't even have to hold it. You carry around that light in your heart, and it creates an energy field around you. The light of Christ creates an energy field around you where no darkness can enter, no evil can enter, no threat can enter, no negative thoughts can enter. So that light has to be burning in our heart and in our mind. And if we start to feel fear, that means we've somehow been talked into allowing that light to be dimmed. If we're feeling fear, then we've been listening to a fearful voice, the voice of fear, which is the voice of evil, which is the voice of these entities that want to pounce on you. They want you to put your torch down and they want to pounce on you. And the way they do that is by generating fear, because fear puts out the light. Fear puts out the brightness. It dims the brightness. And the more we fear, the more dim that light becomes. And the less we have light shining around us, our environment, our aura, so to speak, is dark. We have darkness around us. It's not so bright, and so these entities can come closer. And this is what they do. This is literally what they do. They create darkness in your mind, which spreads into your heart, and then these entities of darkness and evil, they pounce on you, and they can drag your soul into the darkness. This is possible, and this has happened. This does happen to people. However, this sounds pretty terrifying, but it's not terrifying because you have the light you need. The light you need is, if you haven't already accepted it, is on a plate. It's being handed to you. Right now, I'm reminding you that light is on offer, which is the light of Christ. And all you have to do is say yes. Open your heart and let that light be placed in your heart, and let it be placed in your mind. So that all you have to do is keep your mind on that light and keep your heart aligned to the luminosity, the frequency of that light. Keep your mind on the light and keep your heart in the light. That's all you have to do. And you can do that simply by using the name of Christ, bringing your mind back to the name of Christ, and asking that light to burn brightly. And then you are untouchable. You are literally untouchable. You cannot be dragged into fear. You cannot be dragged into pessimism by these voices, which is the voice of the fearful voices in your mind, which essentially come from the ego. You know, these entities speak through your ego. They persuade you to envision things as turning out in a very negative way. They persuade you to see a dark future. And when we see a dark future, when we expect a dark future, then that puts out the light in the present moment. You see, that's a trick they have, is to get you thinking that things are going to be dark in the future. And then you start fearing for the future, and then your light gets dimmer. This is their greatest trick, is to always put the fear in the future. Always say it's just around the next corner. It's about to get really bad. It's about to be horrific. And really get you imagining and envisioning this really terrifying or unpleasant or dark picture in the future. And that's the hypnosis, because it's not right now. They hypnotize you. These voices hypnotize you. Voices of fear hypnotize you into seeing darkness ahead. And all you've got to do is focus on the light, which is right now, right here. That's all you have to do. You forget about the future. Forget about it completely, because you are creating your future right now by where your attention is right now. You're building, you're step by step, you're laying the bricks on the path as you walk forward, depending on where your attention is. If your attention is on the light, if you have the light, your focus is on the light in your mind and in your heart, then each step, each brick you lay in front of you will be a brick of light, like a golden path. You're laying, as you walk along, you're laying the bricks of a golden path as your attention is in the light. But if your attention is in the fear, then you're essentially laying dark, slippery stones which will make you slip downwards, that you will slip downwards into a lower state of consciousness. You will slip downwards into this realm of fear, realm of darkness, realm of terror, realm of pessimism, and it's a slippery slope. And that's where you'll go if you lay the stones in front of your feet, if you lay the bricks in front of your feet from a place of fear, and you keep doing that, then you are building yourself a slippery path into the darkness. You don't need to do that. And the way you make sure you don't do that is to keep your mind in the light, to keep that light surrounding you. Just like I said, you're walking through a dark forest and you have to have that torch burning brightly. That's your focus. That torch is your focus, and keeping that torch flaming brightly is your focus. And so that torch in your mind and in your heart, which creates this aura of light around you where no darkness can enter, that light is the light of Christ, which is very, very real. It's not some belief system. It's a very real spiritual light, as I'm sure many of you know and have experienced. And so this is the protection as you walk through this dark forest, which is what's happening in our world at present, and it's going to get darker, and many people are going to get pulled into the fear, pulled into the darkness, and they're going to have their souls pounced upon by evil entities. It sounds extreme or it sounds ridiculous, but it's true. You know, there are forces which are trying to drag people's souls into the darkness, into misery, into pessimism, into hell essentially. But you don't need to go there, because you have the light and you are protected by the light of Christ. Only if you allow it to burn within you, only if you keep your focus on that light. It's not a belief system. It's not something you just believe once and then forget about it. You have to keep your focus on the light, and you have to keep that light at the forefront of your mind so that it comes first. Before any fearful thoughts, that light takes precedence. Before you start going down, avenues of thought about what's going on in the world, before you even get into the realm of thought, that light is there first of all. It's like the entrance. So the entrance to the doorway of your mind is this bright light, this torch, which burns brightly and shines a beautiful golden light all around you. And if you keep that light there and you keep your focus on there, and thus you don't need to enter the doorway into the realm of thoughts, into the realm of dualism, and you stay with that light will guide you away, and it will lay the path of light through this dark forest, and you will get to your destination safely and in peace, I guarantee you.